All right, everyone, we are at 56K. Yeah, so all those predictions by BCB, Crypto Savvy, and all those bears annihilated. BCB wasn't really a bear, but he for some reason thought that Bitcoin was going to stop at 53K and while the alts go up, which absolutely made no sense based on just what regularly happens and also based on the macros around Bitcoin. Not really sure why anyone would actually think that is this environment, especially since we have so much data to actually work with in terms of after the ETFs. There have been like inflows after inflows after inflows. I think some people got kind of excited last week, like, ooh, we're going for a little bit of a dip because we're retracing a little bit and because there looked to be some sales. But that was just, I think, Genesis selling off, and that didn't even put a blip on the bull run. What happened with the Genesis stuff? Well, they had $1.4 billion to dump. But despite the $1.4 billion, the inflows were still positive. So this week, after those dumps are done, guess what? We going up, people. We are going up because there's just way more inflows than outflows. Like the grayscale sells basically like cut in half. The BlackRock and Fidelity's buys kept on coming, and this week is going to be incredibly positive for inflows. Nothing can actually stop the hundreds of millions of dollars coming into Bitcoin every single day. And, because the retail customers are actually buying the ETFs, retail customers, by the way, is who before didn't buy spot BTC. The institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity have to actually buy Bitcoin. So this is part of the reason I want the Ethereum ETF to come through, because that will help all of ERC, which could affect all of crypto. Now, if Ethereum comes through, I do expect kind of like, a peak the day it comes through. Maybe some people will dump, but people will buy the Ethereum ETF as well. And if they buy the Ethereum ETF, Ethereum's going to go up, pulling the ERC20 stuff up as well. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to get another altcoin ETF for like another year or two after Ethereum because no one's really filed yet. And it takes 8 months from filing to acceptance because the SEC likes to delay everything. But overall, the whole concept of us stopping at 53 never made any sense because it's not like clients are going to stop buying the ETF. I mean, we're still in the first 2 months, and Bitcoin's activity in the first month basically topped all the other ETFs ever. So it's very unlikely it's going to underperform like anything below the top 10 or top 50 as time goes forward. And we know most of those funds have all those funds essentially have hundreds of billions of dollars locked in those funds. And that's what analysts are predicting for Bitcoin as well. So while the inflows may not be quite as wild as month one, they're still going to be kind of wild for, probably several years down the line. I know some of you are like, the economy's so bad, stuff costs so much money. Not really. The economy's chugging along just fine. And people are spending like there's no tomorrow. Like, people actually haven't at all cut back on their spending, even investments. If they had, the stock market wouldn't be at all-time highs right now. So if they're willing to buy stocks, especially tech stocks, then they are going to be willing to buy crypto, no doubt. I mean, it wouldn't make sense if they were to buy high-risk stocks but not buy high-risk crypto. And you have to remember, crypto is kind of related to stocks because stocks like Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Riot, Marathon, they're all in that stock market and they've all been rising, obviously. So if people are buying their shares, they're most definitely going to buy Bitcoin. From a macro level, it actually made no sense. And some people are still thinking that once the Fed starts raising rates, the economy is going to crash. But that also doesn't make sense if you really think about it. Usually, the economy crashes when the Fed starts lowering rates because it's already crashing, and they're trying to lower rates to avoid imminent disaster. This time, there is no imminent disaster. I know a lot of people in crypto are like, the dollar's over, we're going to get hyperinflation. Bruh, if I got paid like $1 for every time I heard that for like the last 30 years, I wouldn't need crypto at all. I'd be like super rich already. People guess this stuff like every year and it never really happens. So, and I think it just comes down from like either they want to influence certain events or they just don't really understand how like global economics works and why the dollar's actually been so dominant. It's not because of some like secret backroom deals. It's because we have a giant military out there that kind of enforces our will and people trust that giant military. Like, if the United States didn't intervene in every damn place in the world, our dollar would not have that kind of strength. Because if you don't actually like assert your, I guess if you don't assert your awesomeness everywhere, I mean, it's not awesomeness. I don't actually like us intervening everywhere, but if we don't, I guess if you don't assert yourself as the alpha country everywhere, people don't really care about your opinion. But if you have a bunch of aircraft carriers out there and constant like diplomatic tussle like everywhere, even if those diplomatic tussles suck, like people actually care about your opinion. It's like if you're kind of a loner and you're an isolationist, no one's going to give a crap about you. And what you say is not going to matter on the international stage, and your currency is not going to be that strong. But if you are like in everyone's business, then people actually care. So, like by the way we're going right now, I don't think anything's going to challenge the dollar for a long time. There's no other currency available that's going to challenge the dollar. BRICS is kind of like, I've said this before, BRICS I don't think is going to end up ever being like a big deal or something. Those countries don't like each other politically, militarily, religiously, anything. They don't really get along. They don't really have any common interest. And some of the big players in BRICS like India are sort of like starting to realize that, hey, you know what? It's actually better if we grow closer to the United States than try to like make Russia or China more powerful, especially China. You guys have to remember, like everyone in that region that China's in, the Southeast Asian region and the Far East Asian region, literally hates them. And they're not going to be jumping on board on a Chinese-led BRICS. I mean, if you really think about it in your head, you'd realize, hey, one of our biggest adversaries is leading this new block. So are we going to put all our marbles in this block? Hell no. So that's not actually happening. So we cut that out. And you just look at the economy kind of in a microcosm. Like people are still spending a lot of money. And their rate of spending, even adjusted for inflation, really hasn't slowed down at all. And, despite like the inflation, I know like a lot of investors' salaries actually haven't gone down. Like the people that really invest, like people that are working in tech or like healthcare or like a lot of stuff, or people that have like retirement savings. Those people are actually doing very, very well. Anyone that has like a 401k IRA, and that's like that's actually making money off that. That's flush. That's been flush for like the last couple of years. And in the tech sector, like wages in the tech sector have outpaced inflation easily. And in the healthcare sector as well. So there's many, many large sectors of the economy that are doing like super well right now. And I don't really see it crashing anytime soon. Like Powell is trying his best to make us go into a recession. Not working because people still have high demand. So like from this chip, like in the cryptocurrency market, you can tell it's really only like a part of America that's suffering. Most of America is actually doing okay. I think it's really like the lower middle class that are really actually suffering from this. But like the poor people, they've kind of always been poor, and the rich people are fine. Like even the upper middle class, they're actually doing very well. Most of my friends are upper middle class. My parents are upper middle class. We're all in that range, and almost all of them have been doing really well. They're like, yeah, it sucks that stuff costs more, but it's not like we don't have money at this point, especially if you work in like one of 4 or 5 fields which employ millions and millions of people. So if you're wondering why the economy isn't coming down, that's partially why it's not coming down, because like there's a huge chunk of America that's actually doing quite well. And like people that are in their 70s and maybe even older, the ones that actually have contributed all their lives to 401k and IRA, they're doing very, very well the last couple of years, because that stock market, pretty killer right now. And if they're going to invest in the stock market, they're going to invest in the crypto market as well. And there's always those degenerate gamblers that actually come in when this stuff actually happens. And the meme stuff is actually getting people excited. So I don't really see how people can see that like this market's just going to like implode or something, because it's really not. It's perfectly fine, and I think it's going to be very, very bullish for the next year or two. In fact, this particular bull run might actually be a little bit longer than the last one because of the ETFs. And we're getting Ethereum ETFs and altcoin ETFs in here as well. So I wouldn't hurry and pack up the bags yet, because I think we're here to stay for a while. Like it's the reason I haven't really sold Jasmy yet, because even though I don't really believe in Jasmy the coin at all, I'm sure the bull market's going to carry it. And those guys that, are trying to calm investors, they're going to pump it again sooner or later. And I'm expecting, double-digit cents on that coin from like the half a cent I bought it at. So that's why I actually haven't sold it yet. That's why I'm buying more and more smaller coins at this point. because like the smaller coins are the ones that are actually going to go up. It's not going to be the bigger coins at this point. So, based on that, I think like, stocking up on some smaller altcoins, taking a couple of gambles, even buying a meme coin or two is perfectly fine. So that's what I have to say for right now. Yes, I have to say that all those bear TA people were actually wrong. BCB, which is a very, very popular TA analyst, was actually wrong as well on his 53K prediction. Alts are just going to go up with Bitcoin. It's not like Bitcoin's going to halt and then alts are going to spread for some odd reason or other. And the economy actually facilitates further Bitcoin growth. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.